Action.
Hi, I'm Maria, and this is my Once Upon a Cabaret. So, the general concept of this whole show is storybook characters and how they live their lives. So, the idea is that there's a golden pedestal in the library, which is where the entire story basically essentially takes place. And all these popular storybook characters want that spot. So they ask a random person, just someone who walks into the library, to choose which story should be on the pedestal. And each character would bring the others into their genre to show why their story is the best, and that would be a segue into the songs. It is then decided that all their stories have their strengths, and they realize despite their differences that all the stories are equally important. So here are some songs that fit the theme. Pretty much anything could. So first, some group songs I thought, so BV or show choir girls, and they would all correlate. You'll see the characters later. But in Snow White's story, they could do I Won't Say I'm in Love from Hercules, Colors of the Wind, Will My Life Begin. Men in show choir, they could do Hi Ho from Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, or like Under the Sea. And there's a lot that all works. So my Act 1 opener, I thought A Cover Is Not a Book from Mary Poppins. The Act 1 closer, Hamilton's story, we could do an arrangement of Dancing Through Life. Act 2 opener would be in the Queen of Hearts story, so we would do like a classic Disney villain song. And the show closer, back in the library, I thought Seasons of Love from Rent would be really good. So the plot of this cabaret would follow classic storybook characters debating why each of their story is important and who should be put on the golden stand. This story takes inspiration from Six the Musical, if anybody knows what that is. It's where the wives of King Henry VIII kind of compete with who suffered the most. So here are the main characters, plus our friend that will decide which one's the best. Tom Sawyer, who would cover any folk songs. Snow White would cover any Disney songs or kind of girly songs. Red Riding Hood would cover any classic songs. Alexander Hamilton would cover any musical theater songs. And then the Queen of Hearts would, for the lack of a better word, any spooky or villainous songs. So some skit ideas, I think they're funny. The Queen of Hearts tries to steal Little Red Riding Hood's cape because it's red and she's obsessed with that. The Queen of Hearts mistakes Little Red Riding Hood for Alice because she's a little girl. Tom Sawyer doesn't understand Snow White's story and why she went with 7 dwarves instead of trying to fight the evil queen, and just little things like that could just randomly be put in there. So my props, I had a giant bookshelf that would hold the books, a forest background with a castle to kind of recommend the children's section in the library, and giant book covers that would have each character on it. Here are some just little props. I think a fake microphone for Alexander Hamilton would be really good. And this is kind of like what I'm thinking. So there would be like a little golden curtain behind, and then a giant, like not giant, but a golden pedestal for the book. Here are some costumes. So these kind of go with all of the other stuff. Any questions?